Okay. So we're basically going to start with intonations, right? Intonation means using a different pitch while you're talking. Okay. Sometimes you raise your voice and sometimes you lower your voice when you're speaking. So using a different pitch while you're talking is intonation. And it can show, it can convey a certain meaning, and it can even show the mood that you're in. For example, if I'm saying you're coming, and if I'm saying you're coming, I've used two different intonations, and they both mean different things. Okay, so this is just one example. Can you think of any other example? Can anyone think of any other example?
Sorry, ma'am, could you please repeat again because I can't understand.
Okay, I'll repeat. Intonations are
Just
basically
change your voice. The first one is just for example, किसी को बताना, and the second one the question way. Do you ask, you are coming, like that?
exactly. So in both cases, the sentence is the same, but you've used different pitch, a different tone, which
Oh,
is
yes. Now I understand because I the pitch, it's a confusing able for me. So now I understand. You change your tone.
yes, exactly. So can you think of any other example?
Mm, yes, there are many examples.
Okay, just share one of the examples.
Uh, Sometimes my kids conversation together. So somebody say they say to each other, you are gonna crazy. And sometimes my elder daughter asks, yeah, you are gonna crazy, like that. So I think is it.
Okay. Uh, Basically, I want you to use the same sentence with two different pitches, two different
Mm,
intonations, two
yes.
different tones, that they show two different meanings. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, let's look at some more examples and then we will, yeah, I think that will help you better understand when we do some more examples. Okay, so now the first box says, when the intonation in attack question goes down, you're giving emphasis to an idea and you're not really interested in the answer. So an example is, football's so boring, isn't it? So you're basically, what you're saying is, you don't really care if someone agrees or disagrees, but you have given your view in by saying football's so boring. You've put emphasis on this sentence, okay? But if you're asking someone, in the second example, you like vegetables, don't you? Okay, in this example, you are waiting for the other person's response, okay? So basically, the next few examples that we're going to study, each sentence is going to have an arrow. Okay, there will be an arrow going up and there will be an arrow going down. So when it's going up, that's when you're asking a question. Okay, that's when you're asking a question, you're waiting for the person to respond. And when the arrow is going down, you are already putting emphasis on what you're saying, so you're not really waiting for a response. Okay, is that clear?
No, sorry for myself.
Okay, it's not clear to you. I'm going to repeat this. We basically you'll be having in the next few examples that we'll study, you'll be having arrows, okay? The arrow that's going up is when you're actually asking a question. So the way that you're saying that sentence is that you don't really know the answer. You're asking someone to answer you. Okay? And when the arrow's going down, when the arrow's pointed downwards, that means you already know the answer and you're putting more emphasis on what you're saying. Okay, and there are some examples given on this slide as well. For the arrow going down, the example is football's so boring, isn't it? You've already put emphasis on the sentence that football is boring, so you're not exactly waiting for the other person to respond. And in the second one, where the arrow is supposed to go up, you're saying, you like vegetables, don't you? So the emphasis is more towards the question that you're asking the other person. Hunza, is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am. Now I understand the writing rules. You just uh, teach us a writing rule. Now I understand the
Now we're
commas
going
and
to,
what's the difference between when the arrow up and down. Now I understand. Alhamdulillah.
now we're going to look at some more examples. Okay, so now in this one, the first box, the first one is all these are all the examples for falling intonations, which means the arrows going downwards in all of them. Okay, the first five sentences are statements, and the second five sentences are questions. And all of these mean the same thing. These are falling intonations when you're not exactly waiting for a response. You're putting emphasis on the sentence that you're saying. The first one is, my name is Adair Ferreira. The second is, nice to meet you. The third is, I'm going to the cinema. The fourth is, I'll be back in an hour. And the fifth is, have a great day. Okay, and then you've got the questions. Now, in these questions, you're saying, what's your name? Where does he live? Why did he do that? Who's that woman over there? How can I open this? Okay, these are all questions that have falling intonations in them. And falling intonations mean that you are actually, I think I said the opposite at the start. Falling intonation is actually supposed to represent asking a question. Okay, so you are waiting for a response from someone.
Be
Okay, let's
American.
just a second. Let's go back to the previous slide. The previous slide. Yes. So in this one, okay, the falling intonation is supposed to represent when you're putting more emphasis to what you're saying. Okay, now let's look at the next example. Rising intonations. Okay, the first one is, are you American? Does she know about this? Can you lend me a pencil? And then, is the film good? Are we leaving soon? Excuse me? Really? These are all questions. These are all basically questions that have an answer, and the person that's responding will be saying either yes or no. And these are all classified in the rising intonation section. Okay? Okay, and then after this, you've got some sentences which contain both rising and falling intonations. Okay, so maybe the first half of the sentence could be rising, it could be falling. So you are going to read the sentences and then you're going to try and figure out exactly what sentences have the rising intonation and which ones have the falling intonation. Okay, the first one is, do you know that woman? How do you know that woman?
The first one is, do you know that woman is a rising intonation? And how do you know that woman is a falling intonation?
The others, do you agree with this?
Ma'am, we can get a clear voice.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's saying that the first one. Okay, I'm going to repeat this. Do you know that woman? How do you know that woman? Which one do you think is the rising intonation and which one has the falling intonation?
Ma'am, first one is rising intonations, and the other one is falling intonation. Second one is falling intonation.
Okay,
Mm.
all right. And then you've got for the next one, yes, that's true because why is it a rising intonation, the first half of the sentence? Because the answer is either yes or no. Okay, so when you've got answers that are supposed to be yes or no, then the question will be a rising intonation. Okay, and then you've got, do you go to school here? Why do you go to school here?
I think
Falling in,
again the
falling into
same because
intonation.
your rising intonation से teacher को yes or no, do you go to school here? Yes. इसमें ये आंसर है और why do you go to school? तो ये falling intonation है क्योंकि इसमें हमें आंसर वो देना है completely yes or no में नहीं देना.
Cannot hear her.
Sorry, ma'am. Aisha's voice isn't clear, and I have a question if you don't mind. So can I ask? Hello, ma'am. Are you hearing me?
Yes, Hamza.
Yes, ma'am. I said just Aisha's voice isn't clear. I don't have idea what she said, and I have a question about you said just the intonation, like that. I pronounce well, I think. So it's depend our tone, our voice. Uh,
Yes, your tone is
okay,
basically intonation. Okay.
okay. But after that, you teach us about rising and sorry, might be I wrong. But you teach us some commas at upside and downside. Okay.
Yes, I talked about arrows that will be facing
Mm.
upwards and downwards. If they're facing
Mm.
upwards, that's a rising intonation. If they're facing
Mm.
downwards, that's a falling intonation.
So if the answer just yes or depend on based on yes or no, so it's a rising. If the answer is a deep, meaning के
Yes, if the answer
so
requires
it's a falling
an
falling
explanation,
information. बस यही है.
exactly.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, Aisha, you've got
So
something to say?
mm,
Yeah, ma'am. I just wanna give an example that can it be enjoy the meal and when someone finish its meal and come back and someone ask enjoy the meal and can it be?
Yes, that's a good example. If someone has finished the meal and you're asking them, that you'll be saying enjoyed the meal. Okay, that will be
Okay.
in the past. Okay, yes,
Okay.
that's a good example. Okay, coming back to the second one. Do you go to school here? Why do you go to school here? Which one is the rising intonation and which one is the falling intonation?
Ma'am, the first
the
one do
first
you
one.
got?
Okay, okay. Sorry, Aisha, you carry.
No, it's okay. You carry on.
Yes, Honza, which one is the rising
Yes,
intonation there?
ma'am. The first one is a rising, and the second one is a falling intonation.
Okay. Now I want someone else. Aisha Masood has answered as well. Khala, I'd like you to solve the third one.
It's the same as the above one. The first one is the rising one, and the second one is the falling one.
Okay, yes, I think they all follow the same pattern, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to look at, when you've got in one sentence, you've got a bunch of rising intonations and falling intonations as well. So normally when you're speaking, if I'm going to say this sentence here, I'll be saying, I like playing football, tennis, basketball, and volleyball. Okay, the last word that you say, you put less emphasis on it. So the last word here is the falling intonation, and the first three words, they're the rising intonations. Okay, now I want you all to practice saying the next two sentences.
We just have to say it.
Yes, you have to say it using the right intonation.
Okay, I'd go first. He left work, came home, took a shower, and went to bed.
Okay, yes, anyone else wants to try this? Yes, Aisha.
Ma'am, the first one or the second one?
The first one.
Okay. He left work, came home, took a shower, and went to bed.
Okay, excellent. That's right. And then the second one, I'd like Aisha Masood to answer that.
Ma'am, I need rice, beans, lettuce, and sugar.
Okay, so you'll be putting less emphasis on sugar, okay, because that's the last word. So you'll be saying, I need rice, beans, lettuce, and sugar. Honza, can you also practice saying the second one?
Yes, I need rice, beans, lettuce, and sugar.
All right. Okay, now what about questions when you have to express a choice? So you're asking about two different options. What you do is the first one you put more emphasis on, so that's going to be the rising intonation, and the second one is the falling intonation. So I'm just going to help you out with the first one. That's, are you going to travel in March or April? Okay, that's how you'll be uh, saying these out. So who wants to do the second one?
Miss, can I go first?
Yes, Khala.
Do you speak Spanish or Portuguese?
Yes, that's right. Okay, who's next?
Is your name Mary or Mandy?
Okay,
No. Is your name Mary or Mandy? Like that, na?
exactly. Is your name Mary or
Hmm.
Mandy?
Hmm.
Okay,
Would
and
you
next.
like would you like a Coke or some juice?
Okay, that's right. Aisha Sharif, you can also do the fourth one.
Would you like a Coke or some juice?
Okay, all right, that's good. So, yes, that was all for intonations. We've learned about intonations. Now we're going to move on to the second part of today's exercise, and that is going to be a little tricky. Okay, so you have to pay attention. It's kind of like a comprehension. It's not exactly a comprehension. You've got basically you've got article. You've got an article, and there are five different people that are talking about the job that they love. Okay, so the job that they're doing and that they love, and then we'll be answering some questions. So before we come to the questions, I want you all to focus on these. Okay, we've got four students in the class and myself. So I'll be reading the first one, and then each one of you will be reading one by one. Okay. So the first one is Samuel. Okay, Samuel is a voice actor. It says at the top. Now let's see what Samuel has to say about voice acting. Okay, before we do that, do you have any idea who a voice actor is?
The ones who dub episodes, basically.
Dubbing voice.
Yes, right. So when you watch movies, it's not all the time the person is himself or herself saying something. It's actually it can be a voice behind it. Okay?
Yeah, ma'am. Like it's in, especially in cartoons, that a girl or a person is talking behind that character in the cartoon.
Yes,
Yes, animated ones.
that's right. That's one example. Another example could be, different Turkish or Korean dramas that are dubbed in different languages for other people to be able to watch. So that is basically voice acting. Okay? Now I'm going to read this paragraph here. Let's see what Samuel says. Okay, in every school report, my teachers always said I talked too much. Now, as a successful voice actor, I get paid to talk. Of course, there is more to it than that. I'm very artistic and love using my voice in different ways, whether that's recording a radio advert or working on an animation film. The first time I went into a recording studio, I felt completely at home, and that feeling's never gone away. Because I'm self employed, there's always paperwork to complete, unfortunately, but I would never do any other job. I've learned a lot over the years and seen some changes. Voice acting used to be seen as the second best to the world of movie acting, but now even Hollywood actors realize what a great job it is and want to get involved. Okay, any questions from this paragraph? Anything that you don't understand? Anyone's got any questions here?
Advert means advertisements.
Yes, advert is basically like an ad.
Okay.
All right, now who wants to read about what Raymond has to say?
I wanna go second.
Okay, Aisha, you can start reading then.
Eh,
Acha, Khala, do you want to
Yes,
go first?
yeah.
Okay, sure.
Raymond, racing car driver instructor. When I was at high school, I helped out at my local racetrack every weekend. I'd do anything, wash cars, tidy tools, just to be around cars. For me, everything was a chance to learn. You see, because I didn't come from a wealthy family, I knew that if I wanted something, I needed to make it happen. The job of racing car driving instructor didn't used to exist a decade ago, but it's quite popular now. I teach all kinds of customers from young people looking to become professional to experienced drivers wanting to change their bad driving habits. The best part of working here is that I can practice for free every day and follow my dream to become a professional racing driver myself.
Okay, any questions? No one has any questions. Khala, I just saw just a minute. Khala, I just saw your your message on the chat box. What's the point of knowing these in terms of writing class? So this was actually this was something we were supposed to initially cover in the speaking class, and then we were supposed to practice different dialogues based on these. So I think I got um, this a little bit mismanaged, which is why we went through the intonations right now. Okay. But
Okay,
basically, we are going to revise them quickly in the next speaking class, which is, I think it's tomorrow, right? It's on Thursday. So we're going to do that, and then we'll basically practice having conversations based on the intonations. Okay? Okay,
Hey,
Aisha,
ma'am, can I
Aisha,
come?
yes, Aisha, do you want to read the third one?
Yeah. Mina, cruise ship director. It's hard to describe my job as it's different every day. But essentially, I have to ensure my passengers have fun. 8 months a year, I work on cruise ships. It's hard work, but I love it. I do everything from arranging parties to preparing daily newsletters and filling in forms, or meeting the captain to get the latest safety rules. As they're always changing, it's sometimes a battle to make sure I'm following the correct regulations. But it is essential. I'm always being stopped by passengers asking questions, and I love to talk to as many of them as possible. They often want recommendation for things to do on shore, and I'm not afraid to give my honest opinion if it means they enjoy themselves on an tour or at a local restaurant.
Okay, excellent. Anyone has any questions? So anyone, no one has any questions. Everyone's clear with Mina. She's a cruise ship director. Okay, now let's come towards Tamer, who's a toy inventor. Yes, who's left? I think Hunza and Aisha Masood are left.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Aisha Masood. Aisha Masood, please try to be a little bit loud because your voice is very low.
Okay. Uh, Tamil toy inventor. I have been inventing toys for about 50 years, selling my ideas to major toy manufacturers. I feel real pride knowing that my creations are bringing joy to children around the world. My friends think my job just involves playing all day, but that's certainly not true. With everything I do enjoy the freedom of coming up with fantastic new ideas. The best thing for me is the challenges of then making them work. The hardest thing is having a big toy company reject an idea. This doesn't mean it's bad. Perhaps the timing just isn't right. So it's important not to doubt yourself. I usually take what I can from their comments to keep adapting and improving the design.
Okay, excellent. So this is basically a toy inventor, and he's been doing this job for 15 years, right? Basically, what he does is he comes up with new ideas and sells those ideas to toy manufacturers. Okay, manufacturer is basically someone who builds something. So people who make toys, he sells his ideas to them, and then they will be making those kinds of toys. So that is his job, right? Now coming towards the last one, that's Esther, and she's a chocolatier. Chocolatier. Okay, let's see what she has to do. Hunza.
Yes, ma'am. My voice isn't good. Okay. Esther chocolate. The people ask me if I get bored of tasting chocolate. Of course, I don't. When I wake up, my first thought is about chocolate. Perhaps a new flavor combination. I'm working on our exclusive cake. I'm designing for a celebrity. I tend to spend the first couple of hours on emails and bills, which then frees me up to spend the rest of the day doing what I love in the kitchen. Before I became a chocolatier, I'd been a chef for 20 years and I was finding my work quite easy and wanted a change of direction. It was chocolate that finally inspired me to change job. It can be adapted. Is it adapted? I can be adapted so many ways
It
with
can be
a
adapted.
yes, it can be adapted so many ways with limitless possibilities. Who wouldn't? Sorry, who wouldn't want to work with it? Okay. So what's mean by adapted?
Adapted, it basically means,
Adopt?
if you're, no, it means if you're trying to, if you're trying to do something new. Okay, so let's say if you're trying to
Okay.
start a new
Creativity?
habit.
Okay.
Okay, so that means you're trying to adapt a new habit. Okay, so here she's basically a chocolatier. That means what she does is she designs and works by making cakes, and she also tastes chocolate. Okay, so she's supposed to taste chocolate, and then on proceed and come up with new flavors and make cakes and so on. I think that's a fun job. Now we're done with all of these. Okay, now let's come towards the questions. Okay, I'm going to leave this on the screen, and I'll just open the questions for myself, and I'll start reading them out one by one. The first one is basically what you have to do is I will be saying a statement. Okay, I'll be saying a statement, and you have to select which person I'm talking about. Okay, you have to select from A, B, C, D, or E. All right, so the first question is, which person sees negative feedback as an opportunity to learn? Okay, which person, negative feedback basically means if you're telling someone that they're wrong, criticizing them. Um, yes, Aisha, you have the answer to that.
Ma'am, I think that's Tamil toy inventor.
Okay, that's Ramir, the toy inventor. So that means yes, he's saying that when the company rejects his idea, what he does is he decides not to doubt himself and tries to learn from that and improves. So that's right. All of you agree with this answer?
Yes.
Okay, so the answer is D. Next is, which person was attracted to their career by the potential for creativity? They wanted to be creative, so they got attracted to that career. Okay, so which person is that?
The extra chocolate. E.
Yeah, okay. Aisha, do you also have an answer?
Yeah, ma'am. I think it's Raymond, racing car driving instructor.
No, I don't think it's Raymond, because how is Raymond attracted to to his career? Because of creativity. He liked cars ever since he was in high school, so I don't think it's that.
Can it be A,
Oh,
Samuel?
okay.
Okay, so the first one, yes, I think it's the first one. Okay, the reason for that is because he is a very artistic person, and wanted to find a way he could use his voice, and so that is how he got attracted to a recording studio, right? So I think it's A.
Different, like we have different answers.
Yes, but I think the right answer must be A, because that's Samuel. He got attracted towards working as a voice actor because of his interest in arts. He was an artistic person, so that's kind of linked with creativity, right?
Okay, miss,
Okay.
next one.
The next one is, which person sees their job as a way to achieve their ambition? It was their ambition, something they always wanted to do, and their job is a way of fulfilling that ambition.
Ma'am, now that I read the paragraph
Cool.
carefully, I think that you're right. It's A.
Okay, all right. And what about the next one? Which
Yes, I
person
think
sees
C.
their job
C
as a way to
Meena.
achieve their ambition?
Is it B?
Okay, so D is basically that person's ambition is you're saying that it's bringing joy to children around the world. So
No, I
that
said
job,
B for B.
okay, you're saying it's B. Let me see. The
Yes.
person uses this job as, yes, it's actually B. That's right. Right? It's that's right because it was always his dream, right? So the question is which person sees their job as a way to achieve their ambition? And that person's ambition is to become a professional racing driver. So working as a car driving instructor will ultimately help him become the best uh, you know
Sing
racing
right.
car. Okay, so that's B. That's right. The next one is which person believes it's sometimes necessary to be critical of other businesses? Which person believes that it is sometimes
So,
necessary to be critical of other businesses?
C. Is it C?
Yeah, can you, Aisha Masood, can you repeat your answer?
Yes, C. Meena.
C. C, let's see exactly where she's. Okay, so at the end, she's saying that, she has to give recommendations to the passengers and she always gives her honest opinion. Okay, I think that's the right answer. So that means she is sometimes critical of others' businesses because she wants to be honest. Yes, all of you agree that it's C?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The next one is which person, which person likes to deal with the paperwork before doing anything else?
E. E. E.
You're saying
So
that's
chocolate.
Esther?
Chocolate. Yes.
Okay, so that is because she spends the first couple hours working on emails and bills.
D.
So she wants to get done with the paperwork and then she does everything else. Yes, the right answer is E. The next one is which person feels their industry is more respected than it used to be before?
Again, repeat.
Which person feels that their industry is more respected than it used to be before? Their industry
Samuel
or
A. A.
their career? Yes, that's the right answer. Uh, do you all agree with that?
Ma'am, which one?
The,
A.
it's A. A, because Samuel says at the end that now voice acting, you know, it used to be seen as the second best to the world of movie acting, but now even Hollywood actors realize what a great job it is. So now this industry is a lot more respected as compared to before.
Ma'am, but it's already the answer of another question before.
You can repeat your answers. There are
Okay.
not only 5 questions.
Ma'am, I just want to add a tip to this whole class, but I think that can I add it at the end of the class?
You want to say something at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, you can, of course.
Okay. No, ma'am, at the end of the class.
Yes, all right. The next one is which person admits it can be a challenge to keep their professional knowledge up to date?
Ma'am, I think.
I think it's
Can
C,
you
Meena.
repeat?
D. No.
C.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Okay, I'm going to repeat. Which person admits that it can be a challenge to keep their professional knowledge up to date?
It's
Ma'am,
definitely
what
me.
was
It's,
D?
I think
C?
it's Tina show will get D.
Okay, so you're saying it's D. Is everyone on the same page? Do you think it's D?
No, I
I
think it's
think
C.
it's C.
Yes, ma'am. The toy inventor.
The toy inventor. Okay.
Toy. Yes.
Um, the toy inventor. Okay. I think that is also the right answer because the toy inventor, Tamir, he says that he says that it's not easy to keep up with new ideas, right? It's challenging to come up with new ideas. So that that must be the answer. Should we move on to the next one?
Yes.
Yes.
The next one is which person has always felt comfortable in their workplace?
You told her.
Yes. C.
Yes.
Esther. C. Esther.
I don't think it's Esther because Esther even changed her job. There was one person who
Meena. It's a weird place to Minati.
Sit in the passage. I felt completely at home.
exactly that's the answer I was looking for. Paula, you're right. That's Samuel. Samuel says that just when I stepped into the recording station studio, I completely felt at home. Okay, to feel at home means that you're very comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is which person realized early on that they would have to work hard to succeed?
Ma'am, repeat again.
Which person realized early that they would have to work hard to succeed?
C.
C, okay. What about the others?
I
I don't think it's C.
think it's
Okay.
C.
You
There's
say
no.
Raymond.
the person realize.
Yes, which
Raymond.
person realized at an early age that he has to work hard to succeed?
Like
Raymond, because he said he didn't
Tamil.
wealthy family.
Exactly. Again, Hala is right because it says here for Raymond that uh, he did not come from a wealthy family. So he knew that if he wanted something, he had to make it happen. So he had to work hard to become successful.
Yes. Raymond.
Okay, and then we've got one last one. Which person gets satisfaction from the pleasure that their work gives people? Okay,
It's D, Tamir.
yes, that's correct. It's Tamir, and exactly why?
Because his creations are bringing joy to children all around the world.
Right. Okay, and this is what brings him satisfaction. Okay, that is correct. All right, now I want you all to do a little writing activity. Okay, I'm sure maybe all of you are not, you don't have your careers established, but I'm sure you all are in some kind of field. right? Either you're teaching or you're still learning, you're still studying, but there is some field that you're in. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to write a paragraph similar to these paragraphs that we just read about, and you have to write about what you love about the field that you're in. Okay, that is basically your homework. Okay, so if even if you're a student, you can write about exactly what you like about being a student and what you're studying. All right, is that clear?
Yes, it's clear for me.
Okay, Khala, I'm guessing you're still a student. So what are you studying?
I am done with my basically college. So either I'd go for medical or Alma course.
Okay, that's interesting. That's nice. All the best for your exams. I think the
Thank you.
entrance test for getting into a medical college is not easy. I think you have to clear
That's true.
MBCAT and so
People
on.
here are competitive.
Yes, that's true. I think people are becoming a lot more competitive every day, so you have to work hard for that. Okay,
Yeah.
and so is the homework clear to the rest of you?
Ma'am, can you repeat please that because I was off for something.
Okay, you have to write just like Samuel, Raymond, Minna, Tamir, and Esther have written what they love about their job, okay, about their career. You have to write what you love about what you're doing. So you could be a student and you can write about that. You can write about what you love about studying the subjects that you're studying. Okay, it just has to be a short paragraph like
Can
this.
you write about acting?
Okay, if there is a particular job that you would like to do, you can also write about that. You can write about why you'd like to do that job.
Okay.
Okay, that's your homework. That is your home task, but we've still got some time. So let me see if there is an activity we can do. I'm sure I've got some grammar worksheet that we can solve right now. We're done with coordinating conjunctions. I think we're done with that.
Yeah,
Okay,
ma'am.
I've got I think I've got a reading comprehension that we can do. Okay, let's do a reading comprehension. Okay, so I want one of you to read this comprehension and yes, Aisha.
Yeah, ma'am. Reading comprehension. Read the following passage, then answer the questions. Nearly all people either like telling stories or listen to them, but do they like to write? It can be hard to write stories down on paper. Writing is one of those skills that takes practice. Even professional writers do not write everything perfectly on the first time. They have to revise their work. They usually ask their friends' opinion of what they have written. They sometimes compel the writer to change his her style on certain points. When you revise your writing, you look for ways to change it that will make it better. You check your spelling, you make sure that you have used capitals, periods, and other punctuation marks in the best way. You look for words that can be taken out or added for different, more exciting words. You make sure that your words help the reader get a picture in his mind when he reads them. Revising your writing is important. The changes you make can turn monotonous words into exciting words. It can make your ideas come alive. Don't be afraid to make changes. The first time you write on a topic, you get your ideas down on paper. Revising your writing is cleaning it up. It's make it ready for readers to enjoy.
Okay, excellent. That was really nice. Um, I think you read it out in a really good manner. Now we're going to look at the questions. The first one is, why is writing considered a hard skill? So is it because it needs a lot of paper? Is it because it needs practice? Is it because it weakens the mind? Or because it needs money?
It needs practice.
Okay. The next one is, what do writers do to make their writing better? Do they check for
Mm,
spelling and punctuation? Do they buy some exciting words? Do they ask their children's advice? Or do they travel abroad to get information?
check spelling and punctuation.
Okay, yes. Why is revising the writing important? It can help the writer make much money. It can make the writer's ideas alive. It can turn exciting ideas into boring ones. It can help the writer pass tests.
It can make the writer's ideas alive.
Yes, that's right. I think it was mentioned in the comprehension. Okay, then we've got, what does the underlined pronoun they refer to? So
The,
if
re-
you all go back,
the readers.
um, no, it's actually not the readers.
Readers for the readers. The
No,
writers.
no, it's not the writers either.
Ma'am, the friends.
Yeah, because in the sentence before that, they're saying that they ask their
Yes,
friend's
all writers.
opinion of
The
what they've written.
writers.
Okay,
The
so they
writers.
ask their friend's opinion of what they've written, and then they sometimes compel the writer to change his or her writing style. So that means, they ask their friends for their opinion, and the friends um, compel the writer to change his or her writing style.
This was a deep question.
Okay, that's
Um,
right.
yeah. Okay, the next one is, what does a writer need to make changes? Not to be lazy, to be courageous, not to be greedy, or to be afraid.
Ma'am, not to be lazy.
Okay. Is that true? And the others, do you
Because
agree?
it's especially with me that when I start writing stories, I just got lazy because my hand gets tired. So that's why I just stopped there.
Okay. Okay.
Not not to be afraid.
Um, but it says to be afraid,
No,
so
no,
that
no,
is
no,
not.
no,
The most suitable one
no,
is
no. Yes, yes, not
the bee.
to be the B.
It's actually to be courageous because it
Yes,
says
B.
here, do not be afraid to make changes. So to not be afraid, the opposite of that is to be courageous. Okay, and of course, I agree, not to be
B, B.
lazy is also one point, but it's not mentioned here. Okay,
Okay.
when you revise your writing, you use a lot of paper, you change it from better to worse, you change it completely, or you make it ready for readers to enjoy.
I think it's the last option.
D, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And then now you have to try and come up with a title for this passage. I'm sure each one of you can come up with a different title.
The perfect writing idea, probably.
Um,
A
okay, or you
good
can say
writer.
the perfect guide for writers.
Yeah, that's the perfect one.
Okay, anyone else?
The writing tip.
The
The
writing
writing
tips.
tip.
How to become
Okay,
a fabulous writer.
okay, yes. I think one of you is left. Aisha Masood.
A good writing idea.
Okay. All right. This was actually writers. Next, what should the writer of a story do to impress the reader? How can you impress the
And
reader?
they could add the expressions, and they could add fun jokes between their conversation between the people, and they could add some pictures of it, like if they're writing a history book, so they could add historical pictures in it, so they could make the book more exciting.
And the
Yes.
colored books are also very interesting to read along with the
A comic book.
Okay. Okay.
like the
Yes.
comic.
These are really good examples.
Also, the
So,
font should be the best one.
okay.
Ma'am,
So, you
and the front page, like in Urdu we could say study work.
okay.
द बेस जो है उसका मजबूत होना चाहिए, सो राइटर एंजॉय जो रीडर है वो एंजॉय करेंगे उसकी स्टोरी.
All right. Those are some really interesting ideas. Okay. So to impress the reader, I think I would say come up with a really good ending. Okay, because when you read the ending of a book, that is basically what decides if you're impressed or not.
So the writer should choose a unique topic.
Yeah, maybe, or the ending should be unique. Maybe it can be left on a cliffhanger, right? Which means it can be left on some kind of suspense.
Also, there should be some humorous characters that would make it more interesting.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. And maybe each chapter, the ending of each chapter should be left on some sort of suspense. I think a lot of writers do that, which makes the readers want to keep reading.
Yeah, to be continued.
Yes. Okay. So next we've got find words in the passage which mean force.
Sorry, ma'am, could you please repeat? I was busy just.
You have to find a word from the passage which means force.
It's compel. It's in the fifth line of the passage.
Yes,
Compel.
that's correct. That's right. And then the second one is boring.
Um, can I say it?
Yes,
Monotonous.
yes, that is correct. Monotonous. Okay. The last one is why do you think professional writers have to revise their writing?
Ma'am, can I?
Yes.
Ma'am, they have to revise the writing because even they're professional, but there could be a mistake, and that could make their all story just turn it and just bad. That's why they should have to recheck and revise it.
Okay, so that means even if you're a professional writer, you should still revise what you've written because you
Yeah,
can always make changes and improve.
yeah.
All right, excellent. Okay, that is it for today's class, and I will be reminding the rest of you and those who were not present for the homework. So just make sure you're done with the homework in a couple days.
Yeah. Ma'am, I just want to say that nowadays I just was watching on YouTube about English, and then I just found out a video that just helped me really much about uh, talking, speaking. Like, ma'am, I think the time is over, so can I send you that video?
Can you maybe you can ask about this video on WhatsApp? Can you talk to me on WhatsApp?
Yeah, ma'am. Can I send that video?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you, ma'am.
that's it for this class. I'll see you all tomorrow, inshallah.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.